So tell me about Frequentis, an Austrian-based company based in Brisbane, but give me a little bit of the history of it.
Yeah, so Frequentis was founded after Second World War, so it's nearly 80 years old. And Frequentis focuses on safety-critical control centers like air traffic control, like defense, like public safety. In Australia, Air Services Australia, the Royal Australian Air Force, Sydney Trains are our main customers. So,
You're doing something also with Western Sydney Airport, aren't you?
correct. We are currently contracted to build the air traffic control system for Western Sydney Airport. It will be the first airport in the Southern Hemisphere, which is remotely controlled. So with the airport opening in 26, and basically works with instead of a physical tower, has a camera tower with high resolution cameras, and the airport is controlled from a data center in Eastern Creek.
So how long have you been in Australia, and why Australia?
So the first time I came to Australia in 2002, I immediately loved it. I still remember the day when I exited Brisbane Airport. I wanted to live there. And then I had the chance in 2011 to build up the Australian business. So it was initially for 2 years. Now it's 14 years. I'm an Australian citizen, and I love Australia.
I think a lot of people wouldn't even appreciate the fact that there are the strong linkages that we do have, and we've just been in Vienna, and we've been to Frequentis, which has been fantastic. But I think a lot of people wouldn't even appreciate the fact that there is this Austrian company which has started very much grounded in as a family-based company, doing quite remarkable things in Brisbane, employing people, Australians and others in Brisbane. What struck me when we were in Vienna was the commitment to R&D from the company. So just talk to me a little bit about how important R&D is. Obviously, I represent universities who are heavily invested in that space, so that was of great interest and will be of great interest to our listeners and viewers. So tell me a little bit about that.
So Frequentis is like typical for Austria and Germany. It's a family-owned company, and the owners who took over the company in 1983, the Bardach family. Hannes Bardach comes from the Technical University in Vienna. So basically, Frequentis started with knowledge from the university in Vienna, and then always had a huge research component. So Frequentis currently spends 12% of its revenue into R&D, and by this, over the years, Frequentis grew to the biggest company worldwide in this area. And in 2004, we decided to invest in Australia to found a subsidiary there. And up to now, we have built it up to 160 employees in Australia.
So that 12% that you invest in R&D, the other thing that struck me is often when I'm talking to business and industry, there's a really strong focus on what we would call maybe the TRL 4, 5, 6 and the outputs, not so much on the basic research. But you also have quite a strong focus on basic research.
Yes, correct. So it splits a bit. It's approximately half is more the basic research. The other half is actual where we do projects and where we need to develop things for projects. What I have to say is in Europe, there's quite a great grant structure. So as a company, the basic research we can do because we get grants like the CESAR, the European Research Project for Air Traffic Control or Air Traffic Management. There's Horizon Europe. There are Austrian grants. So for us as a company, without grants, we couldn't do the basic research, to be honest. Yeah.
And so you mentioned Horizon Europe, and of course we've been here we're in Brussels recording this, but we've been in Vienna and other places. And Horizon Europe is something that certainly the EABC and the Group of 8 have been talking about. Your company has benefited from the existing Horizon Europe program, albeit that Australia doesn't have associate level status to it. I'm interested to understand that if we had associate level status, what would change? Because you already benefit. So what would change for your company as a EU company based in Australia in terms of that R&D outlook?
Yeah, I mean, you represent the landscape of the great universities in Australia with great research facilities. And we have tried in the past, actually, we are part of CESAR, we are part of other research programs, if we can do some of the research in Australia, because like with the Technical University in Queensland, but we were not able to. And I think with Australia participating in this program, basically what I learned is you basically pay and you get it back anyway, and probably multiples. It would also enable European headquarters companies to basically contract research packages in Australia, because there are certain elements that may not exist in Europe, and your great universities have probably this research topic. And furthermore, also looking in diversifying of the Australian research landscape. I mean, there are 450 million people in the European Union, and to access this pool and vice versa, Europe accessing the Australian pool, I mean, this is economies of scale. And for us as a European headquartered companies, that gives us much more flexibility to develop and do research in Australia.
And finally, I'm really interested in the education piece as well, because we do research, but we also educate. And in Australia, we have a significant shortage of engineers. And in fact, I think that's a global challenge. Often not enough people coming through the school system. But again, what struck me from visiting Frequentis was a program you've got in place to really capture people at the school level. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, as you probably know, let's say Austria, Germany, Switzerland have quite a culture of engineering education, and it starts quite young at the age of 15. And basically, we get well-educated engineers at the age of 19 already. And if they do a bachelor or master's, then they further continue. And what we do, we take them basically from school. We have our internal trainee programs, and we built that because no university is teaching air traffic control, for example, and we train them. And I have a good example now. I have a lady, she's I think 22, 23, is part of the trainee program, but she runs the trainee program here in Australia. Yeah. And she even loves it that much that she doesn't want to go back. And the other way we have for Australian employees, we send them to Europe. They basically go through our training academy, and then they come back as well-educated
And you're a product of that yourself, aren't you?
Yeah. Probably not the best.
No, you're a very good example.
But that's how it works, because in our niches, there is no, we take aeronautics engineers, we take telecommunication engineers, IT engineers, but the last 2 years of the education we have to provide to them. That's the reason why we have quite a big training academy as well.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.